Hi, folks. You're welcome to today's episode, of the intermediate classes. So, as I've promised in the previous video, I promised that I will be showing you how you can manage your own risk by determining where you're going to put your stop loss whenever you pick a transaction, and then also determining where you will want to target, to take your profit so that you will avoid missing out on trades. Okay, so now in the previous video, we discussed about how to spot the best entry point that is not going to go against you. One of the mistakes that so many people make in Forex is that they don't have the right knowledge on trying to make the analysis in the forex market and then go into profitable trades, and then they don't also make a move to go and meet a person that has that knowledge, to be able to coach them. That's one of the mistakes they make, and that is why this channel is dedicated purposely, to simplify all the basic understanding that one need in order to trade profitably in forex. Now, for those of you that did not watch the last video, which is episode 5 of the Forex Intermediate classes, please, I will encourage you to go and watch that, because there are things that I explained in that video that you may not be able to understand if you don't know prior to now, and I may not be able to be taking my time to explain that again. So back to that. Now, if you understood the previous video, we explained choosing the best entry points is what I made here. Okay, so I mentioned to you that if a trade comes down, okay, now look at where this entry point is. Where do you see this black line? Okay, let me magnify the line, okay, so that you will be able to see it. Okay, you see this line, you see this line again also. Let me magnify it so that you will be able to understand all that we will be doing. Okay, so where's the line? This is it. So you see all these black lines. These are the lines I'm talking about. So these are the best entry points. The price came down from this point. And then when it came down from this point, it decided to come down as low as this point. Okay. Now, when it came down to this point, it started retracing up. So you may not be able to see what is happening in the market. Now, let me hide this point. Okay. Now, when you see this happening, you may not be able to see what is happening after this point. Now, as the market is retracing, it's forming the charts, you will not be seeing what is happening. Now, you will now begin to see these candles forming up. Okay. When this candle is forming up, now what you will be targeting is you will measure the distance between this point, the highest point here, and then the lowest point it came down before reversing up. Then you get, the intermediate point of it. Now, if you use your Fibonacci, let me just illustrate this one in the first one so that we get to understand what I'm talking about. Now, if you do your Fibonacci, okay, you draw your Fibonacci down to the lowest point. This is the 50%. So between the 50%, that is the 50% here, and the 60% is where you will be targeting for your own best entry. Okay, now if you look at it, this is the point at which the price was. Okay, let me draw it well so that we will not miss out on anything. This was the point where the price went on. So now this particular price retraced up into this point. Okay, now as it retraced into this point, you can be able to pick your own trade. But now the problem is, if you pick your trade around this point, where are you going to set your stop loss? For those of us that don't know what stop loss is, please go back to the beginners class, because I've explained all of those ones elaborately. But then for the benefit of you to just understand this video, I'm just going to explain it briefly. Stop loss is, the length of, risk that you are willing to take in the market if the market goes against your own analysis. Let's say you are selling in this market around this point, and then let's say eventually the market decided to move up instead of coming down. Then you are now going to set, your target, your targeted loss at a specific point. Even if you are not watching the charts, the market will exit you automatically, because you may not be looking at the charts 24 hours. Okay, you may not be observing the charts. There are times that you'll be doing other things. Maybe you'll just come into the forex market and then make your analysis and then exit and go and do other things. So even if you are not on the charts, if the market go against you, then let's say you are willing to risk $30, for instance, then you can be able to set your stop loss at a price where if the market goes up to, it is going to, subtract $30 from your own account. So then you set your stop loss at that point. Now, that is one of the things I'll be showing. So if you look at this Fibonacci, this price came up to the best entry point for this retracement. Now, I believe you understand why why I selected these points. Okay. Now, if you have entered your transactions, or you have picked your trade here, you have sold here, what you're going to do is you're going to measure the price difference between the lowest point it came down, and then the point it went up as a retracement before you entered the trade. So whatever price you are going to get, whatever difference in price you're going to get, then you multiply it by 2. That is going to be your target profit. Okay. Now, if you look at this, if you did not enter at this point, then you just saw this retracement and then you took it, what will happen is that you are going to set your profit, you are going to set your profit to about 84 US dollar. And how did I come about that, you may want to ask? The simple reason the simple way you can be able to arrive at that is that you will just measure the distance around this point, the distance between this point, and then the retracement was about $42. Okay. Then you now multiply that $42 by 2. Then you are going to set your target to be $48. Now, if you look at it, once you set your target, look at it, the price came down as low as this point before it now started retracing up. Now, you have bagged your $84. Now, first, it was with $147 that you have bagged with entry of this point. If you look at it now, this was a downtrend. Okay, as it was coming down gradually, this was where another downtrend was, and then it retraced up to about 50%. Okay, so now that was when I marked this point. So at least I started marking it at this point so that I will show you guys practically how these things are going on. So you have harvested $147 here. Then coming to this point, by using the same strategy, as it goes up by 50%, you take your entry and then you set your target profit by twice the retracement length. Okay, then that is $84. Then you come to this point again. When it came down to this point and it started going up, then you mark the 50% level of the retracement, the distance between this point to this point. You look at the intermediate level. That will be your next entry point. Then you sell here again. Now, when you sell here again, you are going to target your profit, the distance between this lower point and then this point you are placing your entry, you multiply it by 2. That is where your next target is going to be. Okay, so once you set that target, then you are going to get about 100 USD. Okay, if you multiply that roughly around that, and then you set your target there, and then you now wait for another retracement again for you to get another entry. Now, this is about 50% of the coming down, around 50% to 60, between 50 and 60%. This is another viable entry. Okay, so now when you enter the transactions here, you set the same target again by multiplying the retracement difference in price between the length, the highest point it retraced up, and then the lowest point. Then you multiply it by 2. That is going to be your set target profit. Now, can you see that is another $105? Okay, now you watch the market again. Then at this lowest point, it starts coming up. Then you keep watching, the moment it comes to this, the range around 50% to 60%, then that is another entry point. Then you hit your own entry point. It comes down to this level, and then by the time it retraces up again, you now see another 50% retracement level, and then you pick this trade. Now, this is what will happen. By the time you pick this trade, you may not be able to have another take profit being hit here. Okay, it may not hit your take profit, and then it will now just start ranging, and then from there it will reverse up, and then it will go up and take you out of the trade. So you may end up losing $31. So now I just explained to you the trick that you are going to use when you want to set the target point where you want to take your profit. Okay, now let me now show you how you can set your target stop loss. Okay, the target stop loss. Now, the best way for you to set your stop loss is to target the previous entry point. Now look at it. This was your previous entry point for this point. Okay, now when the price came down and then it went up to this point, what you now did is you now activated another sell transaction here. So your stop loss should be around the previous entry point. It should be around this level. Okay, this level of this price here. Okay, let me put this horizontal line so that you will be able to understand what I'm saying. So now look at it. This will be your stop loss. Okay, so if the price decided to go up against you after you selling, you are not telling it, okay, now if it comes up to this point, then I anticipate that the price is going to reverse and keep going up, and I don't want to lose that much money. So you will just tell the market to exit you once it reaches this point. Just the way you tell it that if it comes down to this point, then take my profit and put it in my balance for me and close the trade. That is the same thing you are telling the market, that if the price goes against me up to this point, just close the transaction for me. At least I will prefer to lose this certain amount than to have the market going against me for a longer distance. Okay, because you may not be in the market watching what is happening live. It may be happening when you are not watching, well, looking at the charts. Now look at it. The market never came up to this stop loss. Okay, but rather it came down and then it hit your take profit and then you got $84. Now when it now retraced up again and then you get this point of entry, your stop loss should be the previous entry point that you used to get that $84. That will be your next entry point. So that will be your next stop loss. I mean, now your stop loss will be adjusted down to this point, while this will be your entry point. Now you'll be telling the market, okay, now my new entry point is here. So please, if the price reverse up, going up to this point, please exit me in the market. That is what you are telling the market. Okay. And you see, the market never went up to this point. Now it came down and hit your take profit and then it decided to retrace up again, giving you this another entry point. You now adjust your stop loss, telling the market, okay, now this is going to be my next stop loss. If the market goes against me, please just exit me out. Okay, that is what you will be telling the market. And you see the price never went up to this point. That's another $105 made. That is, I'm giving this illustration using a lot size of 0.1. Anyone that doesn't understand what lot size means, please go back to that beginner's class. Is on this channel. I have arranged it in such a way that you will be able to learn this thing to a very significant level, that understanding this particular intermediate classes will not be difficult for you. And they are very short, lessons that are recorded into 7 different episodes. Okay, and then you can be able to finish it in just less than 3 hours, if you take your time. Okay, so that, having said that, that is another entry point for you. And then you now put your stop loss, you will end up now making another $105. So as it came down to this point, hitting your take profit, when it retracing up again, you are going to get this entry point. Then you are now going to set your stop loss at the previous entry point. Now I hope someone is now saying, wow, so I think this is how this trade is, and people are making a lot of money while other people are losing. Now the price never came up to this stop loss, but rather it came down and hit the take profit and give you $69. Now when it retraced up to this point, this is another entry point. Then you now adjusted your stop loss around this point. But look at what happened. The price never came down to hit your take profit, but it came down, it started ranging, it came up, it moved up, came up to the entry point again, and then it decided to go up and hit your stop loss. Now you will end up losing about $31. So this one a real measurement of price differences, because I use the tools to measure the price and they labeled it so that I can use it to explain to you on this video. Okay, so now let's take the analysis. All the total sum of the profits you have been making starting from this point: $147, $84, $100, $105, $69. Then you now at the end of the day lost $31. Now if you add all the profits, it's going to amount to $505. Now if you subtract this $31 out of it, then you're going to be left with 475 US dollar. Now I want you to understand something in this forex. No matter the level of knowledge that you have in forex, that doesn't guarantee that you will not have any losing trade. You may be having losing trades, but the thing is that the overall analysis of all your transactions, you are going to be in a massive profit. Now, if you look at this, because of the knowledge that you have to implement these things, you will be able to be making profit, making profit, making profit, and by the time you hit that loss, you will just stop making transaction and then observe the market to finish all the ranging before you now go into another cycle of transactions. So that is how people trade. But some people don't have the knowledge and they just keep on trading randomly. You go and buy around this place, and the market go against you. Now guess again, you go at this point. So that is another thing that is making a lot of people to lose. So you can afford to get that. And the place where and I've told you earlier how I was able to get this entry point is using the Fibonacci retracement. This is the intermediate classes. These are the basic form of things that you can be able to do. Okay, if you have not watched the previous classes, I've said getting the best entry point, these lines where you can be able to activate your trades to be making these profits. I explained it in the last video, and better still, towards the end of this video, I'm going to put the link to the video on the screen so you can be able to click and go and watch it. You will learn a whole lot of things on that video also before coming here. Now, this is how you can be able to manage your risk and then avoid unnecessary loss in the market. I hope you were able to learn this, and I hope you can keep on trying this. Guys, this is a real market. I'm on Euro AUD, okay? European, as I mean, I'm on Euro, that is the currency of the European countries, and then Australian dollar AUD, and then on a 15-minute time frame. Okay, so now look at it. These are real charts, real time charts. If imagine you have this knowledge and then you were just following these charts and then making a whole lot of money, $475 from nowhere. I will say from nowhere, even though it will take a lot of knowledge and training and practice for you to keep on practicing these things I've shown you to be able to become a master at it. But then if you master it, you are going to be enjoying your cool cash. That is how you make money in Forex. Okay, so I hope you were able to learn a lot of things on this video. If you want to take your Forex knowledge to a mastery level, I will recommend you join the Telegram group, the Forex Concepts Telegram group, through the link I have posted in the description of this video, so that if you have questions, you will have direct contact with the instructors, the Forex instructors and tutors, and then you can ask your questions. You will get your real-time response and answers to all those questions you may be having. Okay, so I will advise you guys to join that link. Okay, and then also for some of you that will want to open an account with a broker, to start trading, with your demo account or stuffs like that, you can go also into the description of the video. There's a link I posted to a broker I'm using. Anyway, if you have your own broker that you are using, you can go and use that. But I have had some couple of individuals asking me which of the broker am I using. So that is the link to the broker I'm using right there in the description of the video. You can go and open your account with that, and then all you need is just your national ID or your national ID or your passport. You can be able to open your account because they try to do all the form of verifications that they need to do in order to have your account protected. Even if you are done learning the basic Forex concepts and then you want to do live trading, you can be able to do it because they offer a maximum security. They didn't pay me to say this about them because I've been using them, but you can make your own choice to choose which broker you want to be using. Okay, but for me, that is the broker I'm using. So I believe you have learned a lot. In the next video, we are going to be discussing about choosing the best currency pair for trading in Forex, because we have different currency pairs in the Forex market, and then you will want to choose the best one that will give you the kind of liquidity that you want, and then also that will give you the kind of predictability that you may be looking for in the Forex market to make your analysis, predict your transactions, and then go into profits. Okay, so I hope you were able to learn a lot. Please, if you are here to subscribe on this video, please, on this channel, please do subscribe so that when the next content comes up, you will be notified. And if you have not liked the video, please like the video, because that's going to help our YouTube algorithm to be able to reach more people to learn more about Forex. So thank you so much, guys. See you in another video. Bye. And please, before I forget, if you have any question, please don't forget to drop it in the comment section of this video. And also tell me how you feel about, our lessons. And is there anything that you don't understand? Is it very clear to you now how we put our lessons? Because that will help us to improve our lessons, to keep breaking it down to the smallest possible level. Thank you, and bye.